Trump. However, I completely hold the view that Donald Trump should have never been anywhere near the White House. Um, I just think there are some people that don't deserve or should be kept away from running the affairs of a powerful nation like the US. I just think somebody like Trump needs to stay far, far, far away from the White House. Ex-US President Donald Trump has said his Florida home was raided by the FBI and that agents broke open a safe. Mr. Trump said in a statement that Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach was occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Monday's search was reportedly connected to an investigation into Trump's handling of official papers. Apparently, secrets that meant to be contained in a White House found its way to Donald Trump's house. These are dark times for our nation, Mr. Trump statement said. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. You're no longer president. You used to be, yeah. The FBI and the Justice Department have not commented on the report search. American presidents are required by the Presidential Records Act to transfer all their letters, work documents, and emails to national archives. There are also other federal laws regarding the handling of classified documents. Mr. Trump's lawyer, Christina Bobb, told NBC News that some papers had been seized during the search. Mr. Trump said he had cooperated with all relevant government agencies, and so the unannounced raid on my home, and I quote him, was not necessary or appropriate, end quote. He said it amounted to. He's saying that. Where am I? Yes, he said it amounted to prosecutorial misconduct and weaponization of the justice system to prevent him from running for the White House again. He goes on to say such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries, end quote. He added, sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They've even broken into my safe. What's with Donald Trump and third world countries? And I just don't get it. Okay, Donald Trump he's a special kind of something, 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 Surely, if you had nothing to hide, then clearly, you just wait for the FBI to do what they need to do. But for the FBI to break into Donald Trump's house, they must have, enough reasons or enough evidence to do so. And it won't surprise me. I mean, look at how Donald Trump behaved in office. There's no way Donald Trump should be allowed to come back. I just think he's too much of a liability. And the way the world is going now, you need some calm heads. You definitely need some calm heads. Not narcissistic individuals who just want to do things depending on how they feel. So there you have it. Former President Donald Trump, FBI have broken into his house. His house has been raided by the FBI. Okay, now all the news that we're going to cover. As always, we look at newspaper headlines here. We bring you the stories making the headlines here in England. Plus, today is the D-Day for Kenyans. Kenyans go to the polls today to vote to elect a new president. Hopefully, we'll be able to speak to Julius Baluto. Julius is a broadcaster and also a political analyst. Julius actually, Kenyans are able to vote here in the UK. So Kenyans in the diaspora are able to vote. So a lot of Kenyans will be going to the consulate to vote today. We keep banging on and on about Ghana being the beacon of Africa or the gateway to Africa, so on and so forth. But yet we still can't vote. It just baffles me. Okay, so we'll be able to hopefully we'll be able to get Julius to speak to him for a few minutes because I know he's busy this morning covering the elections, the Kenyan elections today in the diaspora. People vote casting their votes today. He's covering it for other networks as well. So hopefully we'll try and get him. Plus, another Kenyan, an entrepreneur. Hopefully we'll be able to get him as well to get his take on the elections. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. And if we turn our attentions to Ghana, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, has retrieved 1 million cedis from Council of State members company in corruption case. That's interesting. I'll bring you full details very, very soon. Still with Ghana. Corpses in mortuaries at Yilo, Manya Krobo decomposing, according to youth activists. So, in that part of Ghana, the mortuary in this particular place, due to lack of electricity, power cuts, bodies in the mortuary are actually starting to decompose. I'll bring you more on that as well. Plus, Nigerian singer Kiss Daniel has been arrested in Tanzania. I actually followed this story yesterday. I'm sure you know who Kiss Daniel is. If you don't know, I'm sure you've heard the song. Let me see you go low, low, low. Yeah, him. That's it. That's him, right? Him and I think he featured techno, right? That's him. So he's been arrested in Tanzania. What happened? What led to his arrest? Now, this is the big news, all right? Because within the entertainment industry, sometimes these things happen and people, especially the artists, go unscathed. So we'll bring you what the actual story is. And then when we turn our attentions here, listen, there's a lot to discuss. Okay, there's many stories that we'll be looking at this morning. And as always, I encourage you to call in to share your views. I want to hear from you. Okay. Also, the U.S. ambassador travels across the continent of Africa off the back of Russia's visit. It's funny because the U.S. are now claiming that countries should not dictate to Africa. Isn't it funny? It's a funny old world we're living in, isn't it? All of a sudden, 2022, 7th of August, 2022. And I'm here on Tuesday morning. Okay, now the story was 8th of August, I beg your pardon. Tuesday morning, 9th of August, and I'm here talking to you, telling you the United States, right? The ambassador. So he's speaking for the US. He's saying countries should not dictate to Africa. Can I repeat that again? Countries should not dictate to Africa. Mine. Anyway, so we bring you the full story why he has decided to utter such words. It baffles me. It's just, yeah. Well, you understand. So let me hear your take. 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. You can also reach us on 0778-793-9958. These are the numbers you need to call in. I keep saying this is not just a monologue, it's a dialogue. I want to hear your take, all right? So get involved. Let's talk. A lot to discuss this morning. Just to let you know, we're also streaming live on Facebook. So if you want to watch us live and join the conversation on there, you can do so. Right? You can do so. Let's talk. We're here till 10 a.m. this morning. The time now is 8:24. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the newspaper headlines. This is GN Radio with myself, Jones Awuah. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back right after this.
Yo, Ghana for you what English approach my muha. Ya sweady. Yenya emrenim fo a wen akwatare wo emrenim a poto kasa mu ye kasa a lawyer fo entimi nianom mumyem fo ye immigration ensem nyina enko dan wo mo Fortwell solicitors emrenim akuku drofo se watna ha che ombeboa wo ma wonsa ka won krata na se wedi edron so a eyom kokokra eba ne nipa setena mu eni adwuma mu nsem bia omudim akotene pa omo wo mre di mani pa bia na de enika wo mu poni se no consultation fee.
Fortwell Solicitors always puts our clients' needs first. We specialize in all UK visa applications, detention and deportation cases, student and work points-based work permit applications from both UK and abroad. Fortwell Solicitors also deals with long residence and human rights applications outside the immigration rules. Don't wait till last minute. Fortwell Solicitors is located at
Unit 1, ground floor, Katrina House, 58 Clarendon Road, London, N80DJ. Nearest tube station, Tempark Lane and Wood Green. Overground, Hornsey Station. Buses, 41 to Archway and 144 to Maswa Hill. For more info, call 0203 3257 030. Call our 24-hour line on 0754 8701 011. Website www.fortwellsolicitors.com.
Opening hours Monday to Friday 9:30 to 5:30 p.m.
Thursday Beyonce Young Milton Keynes.
Fortwell Solicitors is regulated by SRA.
Fortwell Solicitors.
Become a successful entrepreneur with Jackie and her professional team. Become a successful entrepreneur. Anase Base. Wami a team of professional teachers of economics, marketing, ninga omoyebi. So pesa will transform our life from a youth graduate and a school leaver. Na so pesa wo ye entrepreneur. Mon contact Base. Entrepreneur no che say obia ebia wa wo business. Ebia wo ye che. But wo pesa wo ye no in a professional way. To say Oprah Winfrey. Anaya papa Kwame Despite. Base betmama sa diano abim. One your experts ewo coaching and a mentoring. And as person will start to wow business base for better how will be expanding your business and as existing customer base. Base provides support in business plans, step-by-step finance applications, and marketing strategies. Base or become a successful entrepreneur also provide entrepreneurship skills through vision and determination. Some more per free consultation for a base ewo
073 99 867 417. I repeat 073 99 867 417.
And also one more email address info@becomeasuccess.co.uk. Website www.becomeasuccess.co.uk. Mokohwa mobetimi make bookings for an appointment. Base and I said become a successful entrepreneur. Let's turn your vision into a reality.
The world as we know it has changed, and so have the issues affecting our community.
COVID-19 and the geopolitical tensions have really made it abundantly clear that the African continent has to do more to be self-sufficient from an industrial capacity point of view.
Join me, Jones Awuah, on GN Breakfast Show as we look at issues affecting us here in the UK, with a close eye on trending stories across the world.
When we invest from the UK into infrastructure in African countries, that it is absolutely transparent.
With a focus on Ghana's social and political issues.
I mean, it's not about you thinking about, your money, the Sikadia Basa. It's not what our authorities should be thinking about, or officials, but rather they should think about the nation.
The Breakfast Show with Jones Awuah.
Monday to Wednesday from 8 a.m. on GN Radio.
Welcome back to the show. The time now is 8:29. It's Tuesday, 9th of August, 2022. Right then, I invite you to join me this morning. The numbers you need are 0203 735 8820 or 0203 286 0185. Alternatively, you can call on 0778 793 9958. You can listen to us on Tunein or Facebook or YouTube or online. It's www.gnradiouk.com. All right, now let's look at the front papers here, the newspaper headlines here. The Daily Mirror, let's begin with the Daily Mirror, but the Daily Mirror also joins majority of today's newspapers in picturing iconic singer and actress Olivia Newton-John, who has died at the age of 73. On its front page, the paper reports that she passed away peacefully at her ranch in Southern California in the US yesterday, with her Grease co-star John Travolta leading the tributes to her life and career. Olivia sadly passed away from cancer. She's been battling cancer for the past, I think, 30 years or so. The tensions in trust camp over cost of living help. Tensions are rising in Liz Truss campaign to be the next prime minister over what should be done to help people with the growing cost of living crisis, reports the A source in the Foreign Secretary's camp tells the paper that Tory MPs want her to be more pragmatic and less ideological, amid warnings more targeted help for low earners will be needed. And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, right about now, Liz Truss can say whatever she wants simply because she wants to become the next prime minister. And at this moment, at this juncture, Labour probably just sitting there, the likes of Keir Starmer just, rubbing their hands together because it gives them a lot of ammunition to use it against her. You can make all the promises you want, but once you get into, the office, you realize that things ain't as you perceive them to be. And as such, you be out for criticism. Look, to be honest with you, I don't think Liz Truss is fit to become the next prime minister, simply because I just think that she doesn't seem confident. She doesn't look as if somebody that, when the going gets tough, can roll up her sleeve and just deal with it. She's made a few U-turns on her policies already. Well, some may argue that that's what you're supposed to do as somebody that wants to become the leader, to be able to listen. But on the other hand, an argument will be, surely you must have thought through this before coming out publicly to announce it. And I just think she's just, going off the cuff, just saying things that will appeal to people and for her to get into number 10 Downing Street. Previous, the hashings that they've done, the debate that they've done, to me, although she seemed composed, she just looked out of her depth to me. That's just my personal observation. Rishi Sunak, on the other hand, he was the former exchequer. In terms of COVID, the way in which he helped a lot of people. But the only thing that's going against him now is the fact that, people see him as somebody who backstabbed Boris Johnson. But Boris Johnson also did the same thing. He did the same thing to, what's her name? Our former prime minister, Theresa May. So I don't know why people hold that against Rishi Sunak. I don't know, but I don't think Liz Truss, even though the polls have her to become the next prime minister, I don't think she's actually, she should become next prime minister, to be honest with you. Anyway, what do I know? I'm not a member of the Conservative Party, so my vote, unfortunately, or my opinion, or my take on this whole thing, will just fall on deaf ears, unless you're a Conservative member and you're listening to me. I know Abusha is listening. Good morning to you, Abusha. Hope you're well and safe. Yeah, and you realize that we just happen to be in such an unfortunate situation right now. I mean, talk of Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson was hopeless, if I may put it like that, to be ousted as a prime minister, not because of your policies that were so controversial that we had to debate about it, but due to your behavior. It's beyond my comprehension, because we know how hard it is to become a prime minister of Great Britain. You know how difficult it is, and for you to lose that position due to your own behavior is unbelievable. And I don't know whether Liz Truss can be worse than Boris Johnson. Of course, she's still, she's a supporter of Boris Johnson. Now, are we going to see anything different? Well, both of them were in his cabinet, so I don't know. We'll see. But right now, the talk of the town is what's happening is the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown yesterday said that there needs to be, Parliament needs to be recalled to deal with this crisis that we're facing right now. Energy bills going up, the cost of living shooting through the roof, and with no government in place. And the exchequer right now is also on holidays. And Gordon Brown actually made a lot of sense. And I like the fact that he did not go down, the trajectory of parties, the party lines. But this is just somebody, an ex-prime minister, giving his opinion, his expertise, saying that, look, yes, Boris Johnson is on his way out, but we cannot wait till the 5th of September for a new prime minister to come in. The situation is dire, and as such needs to be addressed right now. And he said that, if anything, Boris Johnson should sit down with Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, because either one of them will become the next prime minister, and to come up with a solution. I think that makes sense, doesn't it? Well, according to number 10 Downing Street, Boris Johnson cannot make any big decisions. The big decisions are to be left for the next prime minister to come and make, essentially, which I think is totally ludicrous, by the way. Let's go back to the Guardian. Truss tax plans could cost 50 billion a year without helping the worst off. Again, Liz Truss, this is according to the Guardian, her tax plans could cost 50 billion pounds a year, but actually not helping the people that need it the most. And dare I say, I mean, before you know it, she's going to do another U-turn and say, oh, okay, yeah, we thought about it. And this is, I mean, when and where would it stop? You can't keep promising the whole world and then you get into office and fail to even deliver, the basic things. The Times. Miss Truss plans for an emergency budget to slash taxes will be an electoral suicide note, according to comments from Deputy Prime Minister and Sunak backer Dominic Raab in the Times. Mr. Raab argues in the paper her proposal would damage the living standards of millions and subject the party to impotent oblivion at the next election. So here you go. So now we have Dominic Raab, who's also supporting Rishi Sunak. You couldn't make this up, could you? It's just crazy. And oh dear, politics. You couldn't make this up. I mean, she's really pushing. And if you look at the polls, she's leading. She's in line to become the next prime minister. And at every turn, her policies are being questioned. And she's made a few U-turns. I don't think she's fit to become the next prime minister. To be honest with you, I don't see much from Keir Starmer. However, I think Keir Starmer would literally annihilate her in, PMQs. I don't know. She just doesn't have it for me. Maybe she will grow into the position if she becomes the prime minister that is. But right now, it just seems a bit, for the lack of a better term, wishy-washy. Okay, she's neither here nor there, and right now it's only the conservative members that can vote, and I think it's 160,000 conservative members that will be voting. And I think a general election should be called. We need to have a general election. We definitely do, because I didn't vote for Liz Truss. I'm not I don't have the opportunity to vote for it. So can you imagine 1/3 of the population will be voting? I think it's 1/3, yeah. Will be voting. Anyway, that is what you call democracy, isn't it? Right. So the Daily Express, positive trust. Britain's best days are ahead of us. So here we go. And I always do this. So you have the papers on the left will always condemn, and then you have the papers on the right will just pretend as if everything is all rosy, and this is the person that we need to vote for. This is the person that will take us, will lead us to the promised land. All right, let's look at the Metro. The Metro has leads with a different story, actually. Child dies in the blast of horror. So yesterday, a house collapsed yesterday in Fulton Heath. Unfortunately, I think a child died. But the story they're leading with is Ryan Giggs. The Metro leads with the start of the trial of footballer Ryan Giggs. If you don't know Ryan Giggs, a Man United legend, for alleged domestic abuse. A jury heard he headbutted his girlfriend, Kate Greville, as part of a litany of abuse. He subjected her to over a 3-year period, the paper says. Giggs' lawyer have said the case against him was based on distortion, exaggerations, and lies. Also, the Daily Star leads with the same question, the same headline. All right, let's take our first call up. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Yosen.
Mr. Johnson. Hello, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. It's a nice day.
Yes, very nice indeed. I was just about to come to that. So from midday today, we're supposed to experiencing some heat wave. So hopefully you've got your bottle of water next to you to cool down, Mr. Yosen. Or is it a bottle of beer?
Thank you. I've got some water here. I'm going to cool myself down, and before I usher into Ghana as well.
Okay, so what would you like to say this morning, sir?
We're talking of ECOWAS. ECOWAS, there's some investigations taking place.
Yes, I will come on to that story briefly, Mr. Yosen. So if you could call back, I would appreciate it if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Yosen. Yes, that's what I like. Mr. Yosen is on the buzzers. He's called in, so you can also call in, all right? But just give me the opportunity to just quickly run through some of the stories. The Daily Mail, police checks on Russian and Chinese nationals axed. Monitoring scheme for residents from 44 countries secretly ditched. Is from the Daily Mail. So that's the newspaper headlines here. Seeing as Mr. Yosen has started talking about the ECOWAS case, well, let me lead with that particular story then, and then we'll come on to other pressing issues as well. One story that I want to hear your take on it. So the special prosecutor of Ghana retrieves 1 million cedis from Council of State members company in corruption case. So the lady, I'll give you more information soon. So here we are. There's a woman who is part of the Council of State, and she has a company. Her company deals in frozen foods, but apparently she's been avoiding paying duties, and as such, getting preferential treatments at the harbor. And I think a group of people within the same market, complained and drew the special prosecutor's attention to the case. And by their investigation, they found her guilty. And I'm asking, shouldn't she serve jail time? Because if the special prosecutor is just going to come there, the investigation, okay, yes, the alleged case against you, due to our investigation, we found out that yes, we had sufficient enough energy, beyond reasonable doubt, to come to conclusion that yes, you are guilty of such crime. I mean, yes, yes, get her and the company to pay back whatever has been found. Secondly, put her in jail. That's my position on it. But let's go on to the ECOWAS case, right? ECOWAS Parliament suspends staff recruitment, launches investigation after Nigeria protests. And Nigeria was also threatening because of this to pull out the ECOWAS. The Speaker of the Parliament of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Dr. Sidi Mohamed Tunein, has ordered the immediate suspension of staff recruitment and set up a panel to investigate alleged malpractices in the recruitment process. Dr. Tunein gave the directive in a statement by Parliament's Communications Division, suspending the process following allegation by Nigerian delegation at the Parliament that the country's candidates were marginalized in the recruitment. Nigerian representation to the bloc had threatened to withdraw its membership as its citizens were marginalized at the Parliament in employment and promotions. The Speaker has received written complaints from the First Deputy Speaker, Ahmed Idris Wase, and Nigeria's permanent representative to the ECOWAS Commission, Musa Sani Nuhu. According to the statement, the work of 8-man independent ad hoc investigation committee will start this month, with its findings expected within weeks. Okay. All right. So that is what has been happening with ECOWAS. All right. So feel free to call in. Let's hear your take on that particular story. Another story which I found interesting, which I will play you the soundbite shortly. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and his South African counterpart Naledi Pandor held a joint news conference on Monday discussing the threats of climate change, food insecurity, and the war in Ukraine. Blinken in South Africa is as part of his African tour that will also see him visit Congo, Rwanda in the coming days in what is seen as a contest between Western nations and Russia to win support from African countries over the war in Ukraine. It follows similar trips to African countries by Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, and French President Emmanuel Macron. It's interesting, isn't it? What's happening right in front of our eyes when it comes to the continent of Africa. It's interesting. Right now, the way that the world is things are happening across the world. To see this happening, I mean, when the war in Ukraine, the invasion of Ukraine ensued, you had many media houses saying they cannot believe this is happening on the European continent. This is not, Europe is not like a third world country. I mean, yeah. So that narrative has always been there. But now it looks as if they want to form more of a partnership than dictating to us. And there's one story here that I wanted to bring to your attention of the Secretary of State saying that, U.S. or nations should not dictate to Africa. And I just want to bring that to your attention because that is just, it's either, here we go, we found it. It's either something all of a sudden we woke up and the decision within the international community has shifted. The world should not dictate to the continent. U.S. Secretary of State has said Washington will not dictate which choices Africa should make, and neither should anyone else. And and I find this funny, and sorry for laughing. Okay, I find this funny because we've always, Africa has been held by the scruff of the neck for centuries. Okay, by the superpowers, and then all of a sudden, Washington will not dictate to Africa. The former president of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings, said something. Or was it him that said it? No, I think it was Victor Smith, the former High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland, said this. This was when Rawlings had passed away, and I think he was paying a tribute. And he said something. He said, during the time when Rawlings took power, and I think, from the late 70s through to the 80s, I think probably late 80s, if I'm not mistaken, Victor Smith said Rawlings told him that he received a call from Washington with a clear instruction saying to him, return to civilian rule. Return to civilian rule. Not a call, I think a letter. I beg your pardon. It was a letter. He received a letter with a clear instruction. Return to civilian rule. Fast forward 2022. And now the U.S. Secretary of State says Washington will not dictate which choices Africa should make, and neither should anyone else. Okay, Washington, Mr. U.S., leader of the free world. This just proves what everyone knows and thinks. And this whole diplomatic facade of partnership. If truly Washington will not dictate which choices Africans should make, then my first request will be the disbandment of U.S. Army or military base in Ghana. Because we don't want it. And I quote him, he says, African nations have been treated as instruments of other nations, progress rather than the authors of their own. End quote. Now, because of his visit is such that Washington is seeking to boost relations amid growing concerns over the growing influence of Russia and China. He outlined the US's priorities for the continent, which includes democracy. Here we go. Which includes democracy, imperialism, basically. So on one hand, he's there telling us Washington nor any other country, let's call it a spade, right? So he's referring to Russia and China, should dictate to Africa. But then the US, he's saying neither the US nor neither the US nor the communist countries should dictate to Africa. But then he outlines the US's priorities for the continent, which includes democracy, and that's their foreign policy: democracy, free market. It's just basically imperialism. Okay, the way for the US to control. So all this nonsense about democracy is just for the US to have control and influence. That's it. And this is the basic lies, the lies that has been rehashed so many times. So imagine they're presenting to us, they're telling us, hey guys, look, don't listen to these guys, Russia and China, don't listen to them. We're not going to impose ourselves on you, okay? But our priority for this continent is imposing our values and principles, which is democracy. If democracy was that great, and listen, right? I keep saying I'm a libertarian and I'm for democracy, but I can also argue against it. But so on this particular day, I choose to argue against it, right? If this so-called quote-unquote democracy was so great, and America is the city on the hill, as professed by Reagan, that we should all aspire to be the land, like America, the land of freedom. Let's go and check what happens in America. Constantly, the murdering of black people in America, the murdering of school children in America. When it comes to healthcare, and this is the democracy they're trying to sell to us. Oh man. Anyway, this comes with the job. Sometimes you come across these stories and you see, that when you can actually see behind, pardon my French, the BS. Okay, you can see behind the BS of what they're saying. You can actually see through it. Anyway, shall we continue or read a few messages? All right, let's continue. Let's continue. Well, of course, Kenyans are going to the polls today. Kenyans will be voting today to elect a new president. We'll hopefully speak to Julius Baluto. He's actually at the consulate where people are casting their votes. Kenyans in the diaspora are voting as we speak. It's funny how, as Ghanaians, we still cannot vote. Okay, so we'll do our best to get Julius on to speak to him. All right, now this story to do with Ghana, right? The Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, has cited a company. Now, I want you to hear this. Listen, okay, attentively, listen. I'll start taking phone calls once we come back from the break. Hopefully, I'll be able to read this and give you a bit of a background. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has cited, right, that a company belonging to a member of the Council of State for influence, peddling in the running of its activities. Okay. Whoever writes these stories, by the way, need to be able to be a bit more concise, I think. But nevertheless, well done for being able to publish this. The council member, Eunice Jacqueline Boa Asamoah Hene, is also the owner and chief executive of La Bianca Company Limited, the entity under investigation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. She's also a member of the board of directors from the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority. Okay. The case also had the Deputy Commissioner of Customs in charge of operations questioned in the custom advance ruling regarding some unlawful reduced benchmark values. The office has consequently recovered over 1 million cedis from La Bianca as part of the shortfall import duties in the frozen food company had to pay to the state. So if this has been found by the special prosecutor, my issue is, so what? We take the money back and that's it. She can go scot-free. She can still be a member of the Council of State. She should be sent to prison, and whoever in her company. We'll be back right after this short commercials.
Ghanafoɔ a yɛwɔ English abrokyimai mu ha yɛato adi yɛnyɛ mmaranimfoɔ a wɔn akwadare wɔ mmerɛ no mu a pɔtɔ kasa mu yɛka sɛ alɔyafoɔ ntimi nuanom moma yɛmfa yɛn immigration nsɛm nyinaa ɛnkɔ dan wɔ mo fortwell solicitors mmaranimu akukudurɔfoɔ sɛ watena ha kyɛ ɔmo bɛboa wo ma wo nsa ka wɔn krataa na sɛ wadi aduro nso a ɛyɛ ɔmo kɔkɔ koraa ɛba ne nipa asetena mu ɛne adwuma mu nsɛm biara ɔmo di mu akotene paa ɔmo wɔ mmerɛ di ma nipa biara na deɛ ɛni ka wɔ mu mpo ne sɛ no consultation fee.
Fortwell Solicitors always puts our clients' needs first. We specialize in all UK visa applications, detention and deportation cases, student and work points-based work permit applications from both UK and abroad. Fortwell Solicitors also deals with long residence and human rights applications outside the immigration rules. Don't wait till last minute. Fortwell Solicitors is located at
Unit 1, ground floor, Katrina House, 58 Clarendon Road, London, N80DJ. Nearest tube station, Tempark Lane and Wood Green. Overground, Hornsey Station. Buses, 41 to Archway and 144 to Maswa Hill. For more info, call 0203 3257 030. Call our 24-hour line on 0754 8701 011. Website www.fortwellsolicitors.com.
opening hours Monday to Friday 9:30 to 5:30 p.m.
Thursday Beyonce Young Milton Keynes.
Fortwell Solicitors is regulated by SRA.
Fortwell Solicitors.
The world as we know it has changed, and so have the issues affecting our community.
COVID-19 and the geopolitical tensions have really made it abundantly clear that the African continent has to do more to be self-sufficient from an industrial capacity point of view.
Join me, Awuah, on GN Breakfast Show as we look at issues affecting us here in the UK, with a close eye on trending stories across the world.
When we invest from the UK into infrastructure in African countries, that it is absolutely transparent.
With a focus on Ghana's social and political issues.
I mean, it's not about you thinking about, your money, the cedis, is not what our authorities should be thinking about, or officials, but rather they should think about the nation.
The Breakfast Show with Awuah.
Monday to Wednesday from 8 a.m. on GN Radio.
Welcome back. That's right, the morning breakfast show with myself, Mondays to Wednesdays from 8 a.m. Now, as I was saying before we went on the break, there are a lot to discuss this morning. And if you've been following us, we've been talking a lot, bringing updates, especially to do with elections taking place in Kenya. Today is the 9th of August, and Kenyans will go to the polls to vote. Okay, right. And as promised, I said we're going to speak to Julius Beluto. Julius is a journalist and also political analyst. He has this show, Global Issues, on Colorful Radio. Yes, every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. So do make sure that you stay tuned. Today is the D-Day, Julius. Kenyans are going to the polls to vote, to cast their vote to elect the new president of Kenya. Where are you now, Julius? Good morning.
Well, John, it's a wonderful morning. I'm still on my way to Kenya High Commission. For the very first time since time began, Kenyans in the diaspora have been given the right to vote. So I'll spend time at Kenya High Commission where lots of Kenyans are going to be voting there today. And it's really a big day. In Kenya, yesterday was like a cooling off period. It was a quiet day, no campaigns, nothing. And they all went to pray, for a peaceful transfer of power. We saw the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga going to church, coming out telling his running opponent that just in case you win, I'll congratulate you. But if I win, also congratulate me. So it's a very good development. Of course, Kenyans are, kind of concerned about the cancellation of 4 constituencies, and I mean counties, governorship seats. And IBC, which is the electoral body, explains that away by saying that there were wrong images and some of the ballots papers were not that good. It's kind of not the end of the world, because cancellation just means that there will be elections in those counties, but not today. I think also when you look into what happened, last general election was nullified by the Supreme Court on the basis of mistakes such as this. So from a positive point, I think what IEBC is trying to do and make sure no mistake goes out there, because it will risk the entire process being nullified by the Supreme Court. So it's a positive but a negative to the opposition, not to the opposition, to the parties or the coalition like Azimio La Umoja, which is the Raila's party. They say apparently they have a huge following in those counties. So it's a big blow to them. That's the way they are feeling about it. But again, at the same time, key thing is to deliver a free and fair election. So if there are mistakes, it's better the election is not conducted in those areas than carrying out with mistakes, then Supreme Court coming, checking these out, and then nullifying the entire process. So it's better to take the precautions.
I mean, I was just going to say, Julius, that of course those preemptive measures are better than actually going ahead with it, and then later on, this party saying they disagree, this one says they disagree, and before you know it, it's just agitation. So I think the electoral body, as you mentioned, actually made the right call. But of course, this will more or less, prolong the elections, because hopefully within the day or two, we should know who has become the new president.
Yeah, indeed. It's very good to take preventive measures than to begin to solve a very complicated problem. John, as Kenyans are so focused on this election, and some of them are even threatened the electoral body, saying, "Don't you dare mess this one up," So when you see all these forces combined and talking about you have to make sure everything goes on well, I kind of support their move. If they found their problems or issues, that may be a bigger issue when Supreme Court may be called to intervene. The best thing they could have done was preventive measures, because when you do that, at least now they still have a chance to conduct elections in those particular 4 counties, but in a way that will be credible and will not cause a lot of problems. It won't cause people going to court just because of mistakes they have seen. So it's better done that way. So yeah.
And I want to ask Julius, because I just wanted to come in, Julius. Sorry for interrupting you, because I know you need to go very soon. But I wanted to know, because you did make mention that this is the first time that Kenyans in the diaspora actually voted, and I just wanted to know, how come it took so long, and B, what were you expecting in the diaspora? A lot of Kenyans actually going to vote, or you think people will abstain from going to vote?
It's a very interesting history, and I'm sure most African countries share the same history. Many years ago, during dictatorships in Africa, anytime you didn't support the regime that was in power, you found yourself having to go for exile. You leave your country, you become a refugee in a different country. Some countries, Jonas, because of controlling those who opposed the governments those days in many countries in Africa, they used to see those who traveled away from their countries as traitors. That's why in many countries in Africa, dual nationality was never actualized, because to actualize it, you had to forfeit the citizenship. So if you check into all this combination of all these factors, you find a situation whereby it takes democracy to acknowledge the fact that diaspora are citizens who are equal as those on the ground. And if you look into how things have turned around over the many years, diaspora has been the driving force of the many economies in Africa. The remittances, no government can know. The money that governments used to borrow, diaspora sends that money in many countries in Africa. So diaspora become a force to reckon with. Diaspora, many countries in Africa are investing tremendously, and they support a lot of also many projects which are progressive development here and there. They support their own families. So why do you say they are different? Just because they're in a different country? See, the thing is, if you are in Accra and someone else is in another small village in Ghana, there are people who work within Accra and they take 1 year before they travel to the village.
But my question to you, Julius, is how have Kenyans been able to achieve this? Because Ghanaians, we still can't vote here. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. Maybe it's something we can take from Kenyans.
Sorry, Jonas, can you repeat that?
My question is, how have Kenyans been able to achieve this? Because this is momentous for Kenyans in the diaspora. And Ghanaians, we still can't vote. Ghanaians in the diaspora still can't vote. And maybe we might be able to take something from Kenyans.
What happened was the same thing happened with Kenyans. That was a feeling shared by the government of Kenya. So, and a lot of diaspora, some of them were seen as, just because you're in a different country, they don't trust you and all that. But you know what? Over the years, Kenyans have been bargaining, have been pushing tremendous changes within the constitution to allow legally diaspora to vote. So, Jonas, in 2010, Kenyans rewrote the entire constitution. They increased political freedoms of citizens across the world, not just Kenya on the ground. For the first time, the constitution of Kenya allowed diaspora, the right to vote was given. And you see also in terms of vying for elective posts, that was also allowed. So when you look into the clamor for changes by diaspora, say, excuse me, we are Kenyans as Kenyans on the ground. So don't like our money, but when it comes to our rights, we don't want to give our rights. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that has been the case, fighting for it, they got it. And today is the very first time diaspora, Kenyans in diaspora, not diaspora, a few countries have done it away from Kenya before, but in the UK, in the US, in Canada, today will be the very first time diaspora voting.
Julius, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Hopefully we'll get to speak to you again tomorrow so you can give us more information how the whole process went.
I look forward. I tell you, Jonas, any election night or day, sometime you are wishing for the day after, just to know what happened.
Yes. All right, Julius. Thank you very much. That was Julius Baluto. Julius is a journalist, also a broadcaster. He has his show on Colorful Radio, dealing with global politics, 8 a.m. every Saturday. He's actually on his way to the Kenyan High Commission to cast his vote. Of course, in the case of Ghana, it has been passed in Parliament for us in the diaspora to be able to vote. It's got to the implementation process. And I don't know how long this is going to go on for, because we can't sit here every day talking about what's happening in the country and how it has a direct impact on us. And as Julius was saying, in terms of remittances, the amount of money we send back home, I think it was the vice president, Awuah, that said that diaspora is a key, or is not the key, is key, right, in the in nation building. And if we cannot vote, then we've just been marginalized again. So hopefully come 2024, the electoral commissioner will be able to pull their finger out and be able to put things in place. So us in the diaspora, us here in the UK, will be able to vote. We want to vote. We've got a voice. We must exercise our right. If Kenyans can do it, so can we. Right. Keep your thoughts and comments coming in. I will read your comments very, very soon. Another story that I want to bring to your attention this morning is that of the Nigerian singer who goes by the name of Kiss Daniel. Okay. Reports coming out is that he's been arrested in Tanzania for failing to perform. Now, in case you don't know who Kiss Daniel is, you've probably heard his songs. You probably danced to his music. This summer barbecues that you've been to, or weddings, or you name it, even funerals. You know that song, Let Me See. Is that how it goes? Yeah. Anyway, I will try and get it up because I can't believe I'm doing this. But yeah, anyway, so I listened to the organizer of this concert, which was supposed to take place in Tanzania. Right now, according to the organizer, they had paid Kiss. I don't know whether they've paid Kiss Daniels, but he paid £300,000 for the event, and it was $5,000. Sorry, not pounds, dollars. $300,000, and for a table, you're looking to pay between $5,000 to $10,000. This guy, this artist, Kiss Daniels, who I am a fan of, I must admit, failed to show up, and his reason for not performing is that his luggage did not arrive from Uganda, and he was complaining that his gold chains were in that bag, and some chains he has to wear to be able to perform, and without that bag, he's not performing. Apparently, they begged him, and Tanzanians were really, really upset because people were looking forward to him performing. In the end, he was whisked away by the police, and he's still in custody. So it's sad. Apparently, this is not the first time he's done it. Actually, like canceling shows, this is not the first time he's done that. So that is that story. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, I'll read your messages, and also looking forward to hear from you. This is Jones Awuah on GN Radio, the morning breakfast show, all the way from our London studios. The time now is 17 minutes past 9. We'll be back right after this.
Yenya emranimfo a wen akwadare wo emranimu a poto kasa mu ye kasa a lawyer for entimi nuanom mumyemfa ye immigration ensem nyina enko dan wo mo fortwell solicitors emranimu akukudrofo se watna ha che ombeboa wo ma wonsa kan wo krata na se wedi edro nso a eyo mo kokokra eba ne nipa setena mu ani adwuma mu nsem bia omudim akotene pa omo wo mre di mani pa bia na de enika wo mu mpo ne se no consultation fee.
Fortwell Solicitors always puts our clients' needs first. We specialize in all UK visa applications, detention and deportation cases, student and work points-based work permit applications from both UK and abroad. Fortwell Solicitors also deals with long residence and human rights applications outside the immigration rules. Don't wait till last minute. Fortwell Solicitors is located at
Unit 1, ground floor, Katrina House, 50A Clarendon Road, London, N80DJ. Nearest tube station, Tempark Lane and Wood Green. Overground, Hornsey Station. Buses, 41 to Archway and 144 to Maswa Hill. For more info, call 0203 3257 030. Call our 24-hour line on 0754 8701 011. Website www.fatwellsolicitors.com.
Opening hours Monday to Friday 9:30 to 5:30 p.m.
Thursday Beyonce Young Milton Keynes.
Fatwell Solicitors is regulated by SRA.
Fatwell Solicitors.
Become a successful entrepreneur with Jackie and her professional team. Become a successful entrepreneur. Anase Base. A team of professional teachers of economics, marketing. Ninga omoyebi. So person will transform our life from a youth graduate and a school leaver. Na so person will ye entrepreneur. Mon contacti Base. Entrepreneur no chere say obi a ebia wa business. Ebia we che. But person will no in a professional way. To say Oprah Winfrey. Anaya papa Kwame Despite. Base bet me ama sa Diano Abim. One your experts coaching and a mentoring. And as one person will start to our business base for better how we expand your business and as existing customer base. Base provides support in business plans, step-by-step finance applications, and marketing strategies. Base or become a successful entrepreneur also provide entrepreneurship skills through vision and determination. Some more per free consultation for a base
073 99 867 417. I repeat 073 99 867 417.
And also one more email address info@becomeasuccess.co.uk. Website www.becomeasuccess.co.uk. Mokohwa mobetimi make bookings for an appointment. Base and I said become a successful entrepreneur. Let's turn your vision into a reality.
Welcome back to the program. The time now is 22 minutes past 9. It's Tuesday morning, 9th of August, 2022. And this is GN Radio Morning Breakfast Show with myself, Jones Awuah. We are streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Right now, if you just join us, okay. Now we've spoken a lot. Just before we went on the break, we had Julius on. We're talking about Kenyans voting for the first time in the UK, and I'm sure there must be some good feeling as a Kenyan being able to vote, knowing that your voice is being heard. You're making a contribution to the development of the nation. Who becomes the next president of the country. And, Ghana, we're still waiting. All right, let's speak to Mr. Kitty Yosin. Mr. Yosin, good morning. What would you like to say, sir?
Oh, good morning, sir. And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very uncomfortable. Thank you.
What's making you feel uncomfortable this morning, Mr. Yosin?
I'm uncomfortable because a Council of State member is involved in some indirect sharp practices, and she is still a member of Council of State. And I wonder why she is still there. She's got to be removed. That's why I'm uncomfortable.
And I mean, I agree. I agree that she's got to be removed. But I even want to go a step further, Mr. Yosin. I don't know whether you agree or disagree with me. I mean, look, I know the special prosecutor doesn't have the powers to be able to send an individual to jail who has been found guilty, but surely this matter ought to be, escalated.
Absolutely. The case of special prosecutor has been the position is very politicized because the Ghana government chose him or her. the original special or the previous special prosecutor was forced out of office. So his replacement will have to toe the line with the government. Therefore, precisely what I want to say now is that our special prosecutor today is irrelevant. The position is not relevant because the Ghana government has got influence on all the special prosecutor and even the auditor of the country. We are in dangerous times for the country.
But then what about the fact that, I mean, if I understand and I take your point, it's a fair comment that position has been politicized. But here we are in Ghana. I mean, whatever position that's whatever institution that whoever leads that institution is appointed or selected by government will, ordinarily, people will jump to conclusion claiming that it is politicized. I mean, let's look at the EC, for instance, the electoral commissioner. We had Charlotte Osei, who was appointed by the former president, Mahama. And, she was kicked out of office, out of a position. A new one has come in who was appointed by the president. So, where do we draw the line, Mr. Yorson?
We got to draw the line in the middle, unfortunately. We cannot win until the parliament does a good job. Our House of Parliament must put their feet down to disagree with the government. Because the way we are going is very dangerous for Ghana. Right now, we're going to go to the next general election. Baumia, the vice president, is also talking about voters' ID, the Ghana card being used for as a tool for election. We are not comfortable. We are changing every 4 years. We are changing the rules.
No, you're right in that sense, Mr. Yosin. And I'm glad you brought this up actually, because yesterday we didn't have time to actually talk about it. The fact that coming election, Ghanaians will need the ID card is what they would need to be able to vote. But Mr. Yosin, is it not a situation where Ghanaians are, opposed to change?
Not that, because we expect the government to not only rule, to manage the country effectively, but the way they are doing, they are changing the rules of the game every 4 years. Each time that we have to go to general elections, new rules come. Right now, as I speak to you, I've got in my wallet electoral voters register, which has expired according to the Ghana government system. Because you know what I mean? They changed it. I went to Ghana. I traveled to Ghana in 2015 to register this voters card. Now they've changed it. I've got a new voters card, so I couldn't use this to vote last time. We come to every election, new rules, but important things to be done in Ghana are not doing that. The roads are not being repaired. The train services, which they thought they would introduce by now, they have not introduced. From Takwari to Paga. These are the critical issues we want to see being done by the Ghana government. They are not doing it, and the kids say, fix the country, and they shoot one to death in Nigeria. Fix the country. That is the boys and girls on the streets, unemployed. They are crying for help. Ghana government is fighting against them. That's NPP government is fighting against them. Is it a good government? This morning, Mr. Trump has referred to us, the third world country, as something of a rubbish. Because they went to his premises to search. He said, look, you're treating us as if we're the third world country. Mr. Trump is right. Because there's a shithole and we're a complete shithole country. We do everything wrong. We do everything. We got all the top quality educated people there, PhDs and whatnots in government today. NPP government has started 110 ministers, and we are getting nowhere. So because there is this, we are calling, my party, Progressive People's Party, is calling for a change. We're calling for a change, not military change. We're calling for a sensible changed. That come the next general election, the rule must change. We must not vote because it's MPP or NDC. Vote for the next political party.
Mr. Yosin, before I let you go,
yes.
What is your objection to the new ID card?
Yeah, the
Being
objection is
used as
unnecessary waste
to
of money
enable
and
people
time.
to vote.
At the moment, we have got the Ghana ID card. Let it stay as an ID card. It must not be used as a voter's card. Don't do that. There's nothing wrong with the Ghana card. So if I go to travel to Accra, I'm going to do one. That's fine. Let's keep it for just to prove that we are getting into enough. But do not let us use it for voters' ID or voters' card, because there are certain people in our remote villages who have got voters' card already. If you are going to cancel that and replace that with Ghana card, it's not everybody who is interested in obtaining the Ghana card, John.
But then is it not up to civilians to also bear the responsibility to also go and get registered to get a Ghana ID card, Mr. Yosin?
Please, the problem we need resolved in Ghana is for the Ghana government to pave, they repair our roads all over the country. It's not a matter of card. The cards are not relevant. Repair all our roads so that we can easily travel from south to north to upper east to upper west. We are all Ghana. But go to certain places, you would think it's not part of Ghana at all, because there's no iota of development in that area. These are the critical issues we must concern ourselves with. But not NPV is a government of cards. Every other time, this card, that card, this card, that card. What are you using for card?
All right, Mr. Yosin, thank you very much for your contributions this morning. That was Mr. Kit Yosin. He's the chairman for the Progressive People's Party, UK and Ireland. Always interested to talk to Mr. Yosin. You can also call 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. Alternatively, you can call on 0778-793-9958. Let's read a few of your text messages. This is coming in from James. James is saying, Jones, I agree with you. The member of couldn't make your text clearer, James. I don't know what's happened. James, if you can resend your text message, because it looks as if everything on there, it's it's upside down. I don't know whether you've used a different font, but I cannot read it. Okay, so this is a text from Kofi Ali. Kofi Ali is saying, are you suggesting that Ghanaians outside Ghana are only in the UK, Europe, and the US? What about those in Nigeria, Togo, Gambia, Senegal, Korea, China, Russia, Kenya, Turkey, etc.? If Ghanaians outside Ghana must vote, then it must be all Ghanaians outside Ghana. It must be all or none. Can you come up with a solution to this? Kofi, you're asking a good question. Can I come up with a solution to this? And I think, just the top of my head, I can do. Of course, it's difficult, but then, the electoral bodies have 4 years. Ghana votes after every 4 years. So are you telling me that the Electoral Commission as a body is unable to implement a process where Ghanaians in the diaspora or outside Ghana can vote? It can be done. It can easily be done. It can easily be done. It can easily be done, but I don't know why it hasn't been done. I think that is what we need to ask. That's a question we need to ask ourselves. Because yes, it's a fair point. I take your point because you cannot just say the UK and then people outside, let's say Ghanaians in Nigeria are unable to vote, or Ghanaians in Togo, or Ghanaians in China. It would not make no sense. But they've had enough. They've had ample time to be able to begin the process. I mean, where do you start? You do a feasibility test. You start. I don't know if they want. They can start the process here, for instance, across the continent of Africa. They can start the process in Nigeria, and then roll it out across the continent. So if it's Europe, you start it here, and then you just roll it out. I don't see how difficult this is. I really don't. It can be done. If other countries can do it, so can we, Mr. Ali. All right. So yeah, keep your comments coming in. I will read them out. All right. Keep your comments coming in. Okay. James has yes, thank you, James. Okay. So James is saying, Jones, I agree with you. If a member of Council of State has been found wanting, then they need to escalate this, simply because we cannot just retrieve the money and then let them go scot-free. They have to pay for getting involved in corruption. And that's the only way it will send a strong message for other people in the same position who are abusing their position. Okay, thank you, James. This is from Rita. Rita saying, Jones, thank you for the update on Kenya's election. I wish all Kenyans all the best, and we pray that everything goes smoothly. On the subject of Ghana, yes, I agree with you as well, Jones, I agree with you that she needs to be sent to jail. Well, the special prosecutor doesn't have the means to send anyone to jail, but they can escalate the issue and take the case to court if they have sufficient evidence to take the case further. Okay. This is from Jen. Jen is saying, I like your analogy. No, what is it? No, I like your monologue. Sorry. I like your monologue on the US saying to us that nobody will interfere or nobody should dictate to Africans. But then secretly, they're trying to push their evil agenda of democracy. I agree, Jen. I agree. I mean, wherever you stand on this democracy, is US's foreign policy, and by any means necessary. In some cases, like I said, I've said this, in the past, that there was a U.S. government official who said that Americans actually believe, or it's easier, if I can quote him correctly, it's easier to persuade an American to believe that democracy can be achieved anytime, anywhere, any place. A regime change can happen. I just thought that was funny. The US saying that no one should dictate to Africa, neither them or any other country. Let's not kid ourselves. We're talking about China and Russia. However, their priority for Africa is democracy. You've got to laugh at these people. Sometimes you've just got to laugh. This is from Ivan. Ivan is saying, good morning, Jones. Good morning to your listeners. Thanks for the updates on Kenya's election. I'm not a Ghanaian, but I think whoever's behind it needs to be sent to jail. Too many corruption when it comes to Africa. This is why they keep pushing the narrative as Africans being corrupt. And again, I think, like Donald Trump said, they're treating him like, like America's a third world country. And I think if you break that down, what Donald Trump actually is trying to say is, the lack of justice or the injustice in many of the countries. All right, keep your comments coming in. There's a few more comments, but there are other stories that I want to bring to your attention this morning. And in still sticking to Ghana, an 18-year-old student has died in a fire that swept through a plastic recycling factory at Kronum Afrancho in Afija Kwabre district in the of the Ashanti region. The deceased name is Stephen Ejekum. He died in an attempt to control the spread of the inferno with the fire extinguisher. Unfortunately, the young man lost his life. That's really sad. Now, a bit of sports, actually. I posted this on my social media and I said, no, not this nonsense again. And the Confederation of African Football have actually hit out at Napoli president De Laurentiis over comments over African players. Now, according to the president, he's saying that he will not sign any player from Africa. And let me just quote him, all right? I'll just give you a bit of a background, actually. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has condemned Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis after he stated he will not sign African players unless they agreed not to honor the Africa Cup of Nations duties. So he doesn't want them to honor the African Cup of Nations duties. And he's not the first time. Even Klopp said it this Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager, made similar comments. Okay, I think this was last year during the AFCON. He made similar comments, and it just goes to show how they totally disregard the Africa Cup of Nations. How do you expect a player not to honor the calling for representing his country at the biggest tournament across the continent? Prior to the start of the new season, De Laurentiis enraged the continent's governing body, which is CAF, Confederation of African Football, and others by declaring he will no longer sign players who were qualified for the renowned continental showpiece. The AFCON has been held in the middle of European season, where many of his star players play their professional football. Unlike other significant representative tournaments, like the European Championship and Copa America. The Italian warned that unless African players sign an agreement dropping out of the African Cup of Nations, the Serie A club will not hire players from the continent. As a result, CAF has requested De Laurentiis face disciplinary action from UEFA. No, I don't see that happening. That's not going to happen. That's his opinion. I don't see that's going to happen, in as much as it could be seen or described as poisonous. And even, one could argue that it has a racial connotation to it, because any other country, or if it was any other continent, you won't be getting such ridiculous statements from these people. The African Cup of Nations cannot be played during June or July time, because that's the rainy season, and that cannot happen. Africa cannot always play second fiddle. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Mr. Kofi Ali, how you doing, sir?
Not very bad.
Good. What would you like to say this morning?
Yeah, there's so many issues that were touched on, and I think you read one of the ones I put in as a text. So that is somehow dealt with quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to gloss a little bit over it so that we come to other important issues.
Sure.
Yes. Actually, sometimes I think we are underestimating the challenge of the election and the cost of election. The logistics, normally people call it, so that you don't think about money. It's very complicated. Very, very complicated. When you are somewhere in the UK, Europe, or America, because of the level of development, you do not see some of these challenges. Here, you can make people do it by internet, and if they have to travel to pull in, and with election, if you want them to be president, they need to travel to somewhere.
Yeah.
So someone from Glasgow probably have to come to London, unless there is a center there for him. It means the Ghana High Commission here, or through the Ghana Electoral Commission, will be sending somebody there, maybe in a town hall, to organize the election for them, rather than allowing about 50 or 60 of them to travel to London. Then you have Wales. Then you have Cardiff. You have the Northern Ireland. Right. Then even in London, you have people in South End, people in so many places, Manchester and so on. It's even within Europe, it's not going to be easy. And you go to US, forget about Canada, forget about Australia, and America, you have 50 states. You need to organize them. And I don't know whether you can see the 50 states is as big as West Africa put together. So then you go to Togo. Then when you start going into the African countries, you'll be shocked to know that there are so many countries that Ghana doesn't have embassy there. I don't know whether you are aware of that.
Yeah.
So many. In Gambia, the nearest place is Gambia. Ghana doesn't have embassy in Gambia. If you need anything, you go to Guinea-Bissau. Then you have not talked about Senegal, where you have to travel from Tambacounda to Bamako. To Dakar. Then when you live in Kaye, you have to travel to Bamako. So you see, let us sit back and be real. Then if you talk about Vietnam, Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, Turkey, all this, now Ukraine, you can't finish. You can't finish. Now the question is that, and that takes us back to where you started from. Is it a must that every citizen must vote in an election? That is a question we need to learn to ask. Go and read the Constitution of Ghana very well. In reading the Constitution of Ghana, you will see that under the electoral process and the democratic right of a citizen, there are conditions attached to it. So it means, as a Ghanaian, yeah, there are certain conditions when they arise with you, then you'll be excluded from voting. Some are stated clearly. If you are a prisoner and you are in prison, you can't vote. If you are somebody with mental issue that has been certified that you have mental issue, you can't vote. If you are a minor, you cannot vote. These are those that I measure. But there are so many other things. Though it's our duty as people to go as far as we can go to make sure that we get as much people as possible to vote. However, how do we make imbeciles also vote? Do you know who is an imbecile?
Govi, how do you quantify somebody as an imbecile?
And I'll describe them to you.
Go, I'm listening.
Forget about those who are living far away because of that situation, they are excluded. Somebody live in Ghana, and the word is ID card. Do we need to go and say something? They say you cannot drive a car if you don't have a driver's license. Is that not true?
That's correct.
So be a driver. Your ID card, when the police stop you, they ask for that ID card. Do you have one? You say, yes, I'm a driver. I've met all the conditions. Is that not true?
Yes.
Good. That is not saying that you are not a citizen. You are a citizen, but you need an ID card. So this ID card, the question we should be asking is, those of us from UK have gone to do our own and we are back home. I don't know whether some of those who are calling and talking upside down, they have not gone to collect their own. But if you have gone, you will see that they are busy giving the ID card. But there may be certain type of people in Ghana who actually don't exist because of their condition. Their mindset is sick. Can you see? Do you want to have an election? On the day of the election, 6-year Kaya your girl is standing there that she wants to vote. She doesn't have address. And you have NDC MPP bossing them in to come and vote. Is that what you want? They say, go and get an ID card. The question you and I, and Afarijan, who might have probably had some, he drink a little bit. Maybe he lost his ID card. Can you see? We should be asking, why are these people almost 3-4 years into this ID card thing? Why haven't they got their own? You understand? They make it be so easy. They say, forget about your birth certificate if you don't have one. Get some people to follow you to go and collect one. 2 people, which we even said is not right. But that is even done. They still don't have it. Do you think these ones know what they are voting for? If you can't get ID card. And remember, democracy is not the game of fools. So this is why we have the right to talk. Freedom of expression, so we can educate ourselves. If someone doesn't have common sense, go and get yourself ordinary ID card. 10 years, you can't get ID card. Why should you vote? Let us sit back and stop this emotion. When you go to the electoral place, it should be organized. Do you know that this EC that you think is super easy? I was in the office. In fact, I spent more time in Ghana in the office than anywhere. Do you know that if you go to the security where they are sitting down there, no fun? They don't even have pen. The only EC you have in Ghana is in Accra. They can't go into the bush. Our election is always a challenge. You know, we tried biometric before, it didn't work.
Yeah.
We try everything. After the election, you see them going to the court and dragging themselves. You can't see a clear winner. This problem is in front of us. And you have some people who are insisting, go and bring your birth certificate and come and vote. When did birth certificate become what we say identity card? You understand? Birth certificate is not an identity card, though. Birth certificate is a document of proof, but it's not an identity card. It means this person is born in Ghana. A foreigner can have a Ghanaian birth certificate if he gives his birth to his child in Ghana. Is that not true?
Yes, they can.
Anyone can have one. Being a Ghanaian, your behavior is part of it. It is cultural. And then we have people whom we have created. Somebody said there's no road to their place. Are we going to use our saliva to build the road there? Is it not the same people who have to work? Have we been able to educate them? So let us sit back.
But then, Kofi, listen, you've made some really, really good points here. But if I'm understanding what you're driving at, is the fact that you're not opposed to the change, you're actually for the change, and you're arguing that if people are unable to go and get themselves to get the ID card, then such people should not be allowed to vote, right?
They have intentionally and their circumstances has disqualified them. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So see, those kind of people are those who vote in Basel to go to be MP. And when you finish with them in MP, they go and be bowing down for Chief Imam. And you'll be rubbing his hand on their head because that person is clueless.
Who are you referring to, Mr. Kofi Ali? Who are you referring to?
Oh, there's evidence of Okujato and Blackwell doing that. Yeah, it's on my Twitter. I've said it everywhere. So let us go back to this issue. You understand? We understand. If they are challenged, you can come and say, my grandmother cannot read because of that. Doesn't your grandmother know her name? If she's blind, go and hold her hand to where they give the ID card. Do you understand? If it is not possible, and not that it's not possible, there are challenges, you understand? So everyone has not got one. We should be asking, what is making it impossible for everyone to have one? And let us address our problem. You understand? They told them that there will be a time limit. Do you know what some are saying? To even go to the bank and go and get your money now, they ask you for your identity. And what is wrong with that, my brother? To go and register your SIM, they ask you for your identity. What is wrong with that, for God's sake? Why is it difficult for us to do anything right? And when someone is trying to do something right, we stand on the side of ignorance and be blowing hot air.
Govi, thank you very much for your contribution this morning. I think I agree with you. A lot of the things you've said. I think Ghanaians are just supposed to change. I think, Govi. You know, before you bring in something new, then there's always some people that might not favor. You know, but you know, this has been made mandatory that everyone has access to register, and I think even the time has been extended. So hopefully no one will have an excuse to say they weren't able to get the identity card. Anyway, I'm done for today. Thank you very much. Again, there's a lot of text messages that I couldn't read, but the conversation continues on our Facebook page and also on YouTube. Thank you very much for staying tuned. As always, it's a pleasure to have you. All being well, see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be able to speak to Julius to give us more feedback on the first time that Kenyans in the diaspora were able to vote. I think Julius said Canada, the UK, and the US were able to vote. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Don't go nowhere. Coming up next is 412 Solicitors, bringing the legal hour. Stay tuned. Look after yourself. Whatever it is you're doing, stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow.